This is Benedicta Odami Ankra, the CEO of Benedicta's Beauty Lab. I have with me here our Diamond Shea Butter Cream, which is well formulated to fight dandruff and hair loss condition. Please go to our website as you see the link below. Order yours. You can also call us on the number below and you can order yours. We also have one formulated for hand as well. Check all of them out at bbelabs.com.
Hi, we are welcome back to Men's Health Dialogue. This is our second interview with Senior Jacob, as I called him. And you understand why I called him Senior Jacob, even though you doubt. You shouldn't doubt, and that is healthy eating. Today we have our interview with him, and the interview is about relationship and mental health. And we want to delve into this issue because it's very important that we understand how men and what men faces in terms of relationship. And most often we think men do not go through some of this issue, but today we are happy to have him because there's more he wants to share and discuss. So without wasting my time, I will go straight to him and he will talk a lot about himself. Maybe if you've not watched the other videos, he will do a little introduction again before we start. So Sina Jacob,
thank you.
Thank you very much for coming back today for our second interview with you. And so I would like you to give us a little introduction for our viewers who did not watch or who have not even watched the first interview that we did with you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity again. So my name's Jacob, and I am a very, very strong believer in health lifestyles, health eating, health living. I actually believe in relationships, leadership, and health living. So today, I guess, because we're talking about relationship, I'll just talk briefly about my relationship. I was married for about 10 years, exactly 10 years, and I went through a divorce, which was a very tough situation. And so I took time to really understand what really relationship means and the impact and how it affects, the parties involved. And so today I'm just gonna dig deep into that and share, and hopefully somebody can learn something out of that.
Yeah, I think the very thing you said, that you hope somebody will learn something out of that, is very important. Now, before we start, or before I start asking the questions, don't forget to subscribe and to share this video, especially to your friends, to guys, to even females or ladies who are watching, because I know ladies also watch these videos very well. So don't forget to subscribe on our videos and to share our page as well. Let me go straight to the question. So Sina Jacob, from your own perspective, what constitutes a healthy relationship, or what is a healthy relationship to you?
That's a good question, because I think a lot of us look at health relationship as people who, and with the media, this times of online and everything, people posting pictures and their stories and the excitement on the web, and people think, oh, this family is good, this family is good. But I think health relationship begins with two people who purposely want to make life better together. It takes 100% input from both parties, not 70, 80, 100, no, 100 both. And health relationship is about having your partner or your spouse understand you well, and you also understanding them well. And this comes through support system. You're able to support them through every situation, because we kind of give up on a lot of things, and we make a lot of assumptions that it's well, he can handle it or she can handle it, and lack of communication therefore becomes key. And I think communication is one of the ingredients that make a health relationship work better. Because if there's no communication, then there's no relationship. And so a lot has to do with communication, understanding your partner well, and in the process of understanding your partner well, also understanding that you're both human beings. You have feelings, you have emotions, and not every day is going to be a bright day. So, what do you do then when the day is not bright as expected? Are you going to keep believing in that partner? Are you going to keep supporting them, or are you going to start doubting and questioning? And the treatment generally in a health relationship is respect. So we're talking communication, we're talking respect. Respect has to be there. You respect your partner because they are human beings, they are grown-ups. And so you don't treat them like uh, they don't belong or they are second citizen. So you are working as a team. So there has to be a lot of teamwork to come up with a health relationship.
I think you made mention about you made mention of a lot of things, but the two pieces that I've picked up from what you said is communication and respect.
Respect.
And these two, I think my uncle, my dad, and other people that I have really met on these conversations, they really mention these two key: respect and communication. So if you say communication, if you say respect, the first one, what do you mean by communication?
So communication is where now we start talking about the issues of trust, right? Yeah, because I can only trust you if you can keep your word. I can only trust you if your word is true. Because if your word is true, then I don't have to doubt it, because you are showing,
Yeah.
and you're showing through communication. If you told me we're going to meet at 10, then you show up at 11, now I start doubting. And in that sequence, did you communicate and tell me, you know what, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be late, so expect me? So communication involves a lot of things. Involves the trust, because as you communicate, you'll also understand the other person better. So how then do you understand the other person better if you're not communicating?
Yeah.
And communicating means you open up. When we go to communication school, you talk about different types of communication, verbal and whatever. But, in a relationship, it's about opening up in totality and allowing your spouse or your partner to understand you better. Whatever way you have to express that. Being apologetic, being sorry. Men, we tend to feel like, you know what, I don't have to apologize.
We don't have to say sorry.
Yeah, I don't have to. And that's a big mistake. I mean, it doesn't make you a lesser man. You're just accepting that you messed up. And I think that's one of the issues. If you can accept you messed up, the other person has a better chance of saying, you know what, that's a genuine apology. So that's part of communication.
Okay.
Being able to talk over everything pretty much, from work, from if you have children, open communication about those kids, to bedroom matters, to everything. So there's nothing off the table when we talk about communication in relationship, because that's the only person you kind of closer to than any other person now, right? That's the person you're waking up to every single day. So there's no way you can then say, you know what, I'll keep this secret or I'll do that. No secrets in relationship, honestly.
So here, what I'm trying to get is your partner becomes your best friend and your lover. So everything you have to let this person know. There was an area too that you made mention about this apologetic. It's very difficult if you have someone who refuses or cannot apologize, who cannot say sorry, especially even ladies as well. I think it's not only guys, but ladies too as well. You can find someone who, like, they goes through this difficult time of saying sorry even when they know that they are wrong. So, and then the second aspect was the respect. So how does respect contribute in this conversation?
So respect is basically understanding that you're two grown up people, and I have to treat you right,
Yeah.
and you have to treat me right. So that's respect. Think about the general rule.
Mm-hmm.
Do you appreciate what I do to you? If I, like putting yourself in the shoes of the other person,
Do unto others.
yeah, how you do to yourself. So are you having respect and accepting that this, and you see, when it comes to respect, we think about it like, what, just little or big time things, but little things, because a lot of times we show a lot of respect to our bosses,
Yeah.
we show a lot of respect to our friends, but we can't do that to our spouses.
Wow.
And that's a problem, because this is, I believe, the first relationship is your spouse.
Yeah.
And then now you can, go out there and display and so, just the respect of small things, big things, saying thank you, saying I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that, saying, oh, you did a good job. They are compliments, but they come with respect and genuineness.
Yeah.
So, and also accepting the fact, like you said, people who are very hard to apologize, or even some to accept the apology. So what happens in that is, I think from the beginning of the relationship, there are things you have to set straight on the table. And coming from a Christian background, you would, I would say, having some house rules or guidelines that guide you as a couple. So if you decide, we're not going to bed unless we've sorted out what happened.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that way, you don't start that in year 3 of marriage or year 5 of marriage. You start that from the very beginning, and then once you have that foundation, it's very easy now to, have, because if your partner understands you better and they know how genuine you mean, they won't have a hard time accepting your apology.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's action too.
Yeah.
Because I can apologize by word, but am I acting the same way, or am I acting contrary to what I just did?
I think it makes sense, and that led me to a question from all that you just described. So, how did you meet your partner? How did it all start?
So I met my partner in church, and we were just good friends. Actually, very good friends. She was serving in the ministry, in worship ministry. I was serving in leadership ministry, and I think intercession. And so just a bunch of younger people who loved ministry and who were doing a lot in the church. And so we just became friends. We were friends for quite some time, and at some point, I guess we started hanging out. Now that's the new word, a lot, and that's how we met, and
Uh,
we kicked off.
yeah, so many people meet their partners in school,
Hmm.
church, in the community they live,
Hmm.
and many more.
Hmm.
So, when you met your partner,
Hmm.
what was your initial impression?
Yeah, I think for me it was the love of God. I could tell, she was very passionate about spiritual life, and having been coming from a background of the same, and believing the same, I felt this was going to be a good match, and so I didn't have any doubts. And I also think we had made some friendship, so the friendship made it very easy, because once you you've made friendship with somebody, there are things you talk just beyond, professionalism or whatever. So yeah, so there was not any doubt, or I wasn't scared of anything. I thought it was, and I was mature enough at that point, maybe not in things of marriage, but I thought I was ready.
Okay,
Yeah.
you thought you were ready. So, were there things that you were looking out for in her
Yeah.
that you found like, oh yeah, I've seen these things that I'm looking for?
Uh, yeah, there was things that I saw in her, but again, as you live, you realize, and not just when you start living, but I think sometimes we get attached
Yeah.
without doing the due diligence, and that's now what I tell younger people: take your time, take your time, uh, know your friend really good, or your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Take time and talk deeply, discuss a lot of things in the process of dating, which is, because dating is a process when it reflects what will come. And so maybe we dated for a shorter time, but there are things that I saw. Like I said, I love intelligent women,
Yeah.
and so she was very intelligent. I love outgoing. I mean, like, very, open, very social. So that impressed me. But there are a lot of things I can't discuss that
Yeah, I
I
understand.
appreciate. I like, but those were things that really impressed me. And of course, like I mentioned, the just her spiritual life. I think that was very, that attracted me more to wanting to be with her.
Okay, so what about we talk about initial impression.
Yes.
What about the impression during and after you left?
So after the relationship,
Yeah.
um, you know, people do change.
Yeah.
I think that's a fact. People do change with time, and also people do find other meaningful things in life that they didn't expect. I think we also set a lot of expectations, but we're not willing to adjust to those
Okay.
expectations. So I think life is about adjustments. You know, you cannot be stingy in life. You cannot be stagnant and say, you know what, if this doesn't work, then I'm out. Because then flexibility, I think, is I would say is very key, especially in relationship. So yeah, so there are things that kind of happened that made me think, wow. And again, I'll say this: I'm not throwing stones at my ex, but I'm saying relationship takes two people.
Yeah.
And so I take responsibility just as well as she takes the responsibility. So there are things we would have done differently, but maybe for some reasons we chose not to.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's for some reason. I think the thing, for what you just said, there are some things that you think you'd have done different.
Yes.
I will reserve that question for last,
Right.
and then I'll come back to. So this major question that I have here.
Hmm.
So, what is one area you think that something is missing in relationship
Okay, so generally.
generally?
So a lot, actually. One would not be fair.
Okay, then break it down.
So what is missing right now in relationship is communication. One. Secondly, people are not being genuine. They are not being truthful. They don't know what they want in a relationship. So there's a lot of guessworks, and just like, I don't know if this is what I want. I don't know if this is what I want. And then the other problem is the expectations. There's been so much expectations that is making the boy child not have the confidence of engaging the other gender, the girl child. So I think uh, if people can take their time,
Mhm.
and if you see a red flag, I think emotions are so much in relationship that people forget to look at the key things. And so they will see a red flag, but they will still proceed on because they will make what we call an assumption that things will change when we are together. Things don't change when you're together. If I am a latecomer, I'll be a latecomer unless I really put in a lot of effort to make that change. And that's where again we go back to flexibility and the willingness to improvise and to sacrifice, because if there's no sacrifice there will not be change. And so assumption that things will be good, when you sing a red flag and you refuse to talk about that red flag, and it's not necessarily that that red flag will mess up the relationship. Maybe you just need to address it there and have two things. One, I am able to live with that. So accept it before you get into the marriage. Accept it. I know that's the problem, and I accept it, and hopefully we will, even if it's never solved, I'll be comfortable. Two, you see the red flag, make a decision. I don't want this because I'm not going to be dealing with this.
What you've talked about is like so many baskets with a whole lot of water in it.
Yes.
It's heavy. I think I'm going to unpack it one by one.
Yes, please.
Now, you talk about guys making the decision.
Yeah.
That it's like they are not sure of all this. Am I going? I'm not going.
Yes.
What causes this?
So one of the things is expectations, honestly, and from the girl child, I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. I think right now, a lot of ladies have set a lot of expectations, and unfortunately, if we may talk to our African ladies in this particular situation, is they've changed from just being who they are and who into living this fantasy world. They want the Hollywood life, and they want wealth right away. They want this, they want this. So the expectations is too high, and so the boy child then is looking at it like, am I going to afford this? It's become more materialistic, honestly, than just the genuine love and the genuine relationship. So when the man is looking at this and is doubting, should I go for this or should I not? And then it's like now there is plan A, B, C. So somebody's not sure, like, so I'm in this and let's work it out. I'm committed to you. We going to work this thing out. No, it's like a small misunderstanding, whatever, I'm out of here. There's no relationship that can grow from that.
This is really deep, even for me myself. And there's another thing that you talk about, red flag.
Yes.
What do you mean by red flag?
Oh yes. So I'll give you just a few examples. So let's deal with money a little bit.
Okay.
Because that's also a big issue in relationships, right? So you get and this is both sides. It's not just one-sided, and ladies have to watch out for this. And actually, I have something I'll tell the ladies after this. So, example. So, you're dating, and your lady loves to spend. Yeah, loves to spend. Doesn't care about savings or anything. Loves to spend, and spending in high level, not normal stores. So that already. You can see that she's a spender, and you're not addressing that issue. And you don't have enough at that level, because you never know. You may make a lot, and you may never have a problem. But at that particular time, are you able to sustain her lifestyle? That's the question. So you're not able to sustain her lifestyle, and you know for sure she demands that, and you still say, you know what, I'll just survive until I get money. No, you never budget for what you don't have. You can only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. So you cannot then say, you know what? We'll push on, and then hopefully I
Things will
get
be
a
fine.
better job, and hopefully, and then I'll no. That's a red flag. If you're okay with that spending habit, well and good. But if you have reservations, that's a red flag. Okay, a red flag. Let's talk about, yeah, we like to be neat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go to your lady's place, and again, if you're dating, make sure you get that time to visit each other's places. So you see how the person lives. That's just a fact. So you go and you find everything. When you get in the doorway, there are shoes by the doorway. There's a dinner plate that was left on the table last night. It's there, and you can tell this has been there for maybe 2 days. I mean, it just depends. If you are a neat guy, isn't that a red flag?
Yeah.
You can address that. And maybe, yeah. So a lot of red flags, And so those are the red flags I'm talking about. Red flags of, even when we talk about the communication. Is this person a demanding person?
Mm-hmm.
Is it demanding your attention every time? Like, hey, where are you and what are you doing, and all these questions. So if you see that, and your person, and this can be either side. There are men who will also like be all over their ladies, like, where are you, what are you? Very suspicious, very insecure. So if you see insecure person, and you're not that type, you don't like that type of life, that's a red flag.
I see.
Don't bother, man. Because it's not going to stop just because you're dating.
Yeah.
Or just because you're getting married.
So, this is, in fact, I'm even lost my way. Things that you are talking about. Yeah, because they are really very educative thing that you are giving up, which is very nice to this interview as well.
Yes.
Now, all these areas you are mentioning, do you think that guys, or do guys look at all these things that you are mentioning at a particular time and make a decision? Or you think in this our era it doesn't happen, we just rush into it?
So there are two things to that. In this time and era, I think a lot of guys, they're just looking for beauty. Yeah, she's cute, man. She got everything.
Get a big
Yeah,
ass.
but where is the character?
I see.
How do you know the character? How do you know? You cannot know a character, and this is what puts me off when I hear younger people in this generation, everybody saying, you see a lady today and you say, I love this lady. You can't love the lady. You have to love the character in the lady. So how much time have you spent together to know her character and start loving her? That's the only time you start loving. All this you're saying you're lusting after her. So don't tell me, man, she's good, man, I love her. No, within a month, a week, 2 weeks, no love, man. There's no love. That's lust. So that's one thing.
Okay.
So they look at that, and so they don't take their time. What the men are doing is they're not taking time to really learn and understand their partner, and that's the unfortunate part. Excuse me. So the other thing is, in the process, even ladies.
Yeah.
So the issue I have with the ladies is the ladies are not asking hard questions. Men, we kind of tend to be the hunters, but then we're also not genuine enough. We're not telling the ladies the truth. And so I always ask the ladies, why don't you ask these men hard questions? And there are not so many. Just ask the man, what is your plan for me? If that man answers that question, then he's serious. I'm telling you. You can practically go do that. Ladies out there.
Is it all time?
I'm telling you. Just ask, ladies, ask the man, what plan do you have for me? If the man is going to fumble with that question, He got no plan for you. You're just a statistic. So yeah, you're just gonna be one of the statistics and go. So let the man. And what I'm saying is, man, let's also be real, man. Because if you're chasing after this woman, then stick to that woman and have a plan for her. Give her something to look at and say, yeah, this guy is serious and genuine. Because what is happening is we are not being genuine with the dating and the relationships. We're playing around. We are wasting people's time. And it's sad because, yeah, the dating has to take some time, right? So in the process of dating, you're not wasting time, because dating is learning, is knowing the other person. So don't feel like, oh man, I don't want. No, you have to talk to the person to know them. So you have to have these conversations. But during these conversations is where you ask those hard questions, because you won't ask hard questions after you're married. Those will not count.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. So you are dating a lady. You want to marry this lady, right? And you've never asked her how many kids would she like to have. Or she has never asked you or told you, you know what, Evans, I would like to have 4 kids. You've never discussed kids. The number of kids you want, or your family, how big your family is supposed to. You've never discussed. But you're dating and you want to get married. And so you get to marry this lady.
Before.
And then when you're married now, she says, I want 5. And you're like, no way, I only need 2. You see that?
Confusion.
This would have been sorted out way back, dating process.
So you need to sort certain things out
ahead of time.
and then, like, okay, I'm going to have one.
Yes.
No, okay.
And then agree on that.
What if the person also accepts that, okay, I'm going to have 2, I'm going to have 3, the person accepts. But at the end of the day, you go into it and the person also says, well, you know what about 5?
No, I think that's just lack of being honest with yourself. Because again, look at the communication and the trust issue. So if I'm telling you something, we stick with that. Because this is a conversation that is not done in the bedroom. This is a conversation that is done on the table, across the table. So we're not playing games here. We're talking about our family. So we agreed, and this doesn't mean it has to be your way or her way, but you have to come to a consensus and say, you know what, I think, yeah, that makes sense. Because in marriage or in relationship, a lot of sacrifice is needed. So that sacrifice was saying, she wants 5, you want 2, and then you settle for 4. So you settled. Everybody's happy. You know what I mean? But if she's gonna change after 2 years, or then there's a problem there. There's a problem there.
In your own way, with your experience, how do you think separation affects men's mental health?
That's a good question, and it's a very important question, especially, and yeah, because we're talking about men, but I know it affects both sides, gender. Every man, and if you genuinely were in a relationship, you invested a lot of emotions, emotional investment, time, and other things. So it's like somebody is breaking you piece by piece by piece. And you look back, whatever, it doesn't matter whether it was 20 years or 3 years, there was a lot of investment of time, of emotions, of everything. And so it breaks you down, because you start asking yourself a lot of questions. And in the process of asking yourself a lot of questions, what went wrong? Is it me? They self-pity, they self-blame. And a lot of men tend to stay there in that stage of self-pity, and the fear that now I don't know even how I'm gonna start loving anybody else, or how am I gonna get myself up here. And that drains them. It drains them to the fact that some even decide, you know what, forget this marriage thing, or forget this relationship thing. And then that makes people start turning to things that are short-term cure, like getting into drinking, getting into drugs, getting into other things that are not as healthy in relationship wise. And so it's a big deal, it's a big issue, but for me, I believe if you can take time, one of the key things I think is learning more about yourself. Take your time, understand yourself, dig deep to know who exactly you are. And as you dig deep, start loving yourself. I know we tell ladies a lot this, but love yourself, appreciate yourself, know that you are just fearfully and wonderfully created as
Yeah.
well. And in that process, accept this happened, because there are things we will never change. It's just impossible to change some things. So that process of acceptance, saying, you know what, it happened, I accept it, forgive. Um, if you feel it deeply, forgive, and pray that whoever the other person also forgive you, but also ask God for that
Yeah.
healing. Um, Once you go through the healing process, just accept that it happened and live on and find things to make you enjoy life again.
Yeah.
Because that's where we go wrong. We feel like, so marriage is not the only thing that can make you have a happy life. There are single men, there are single women out there who are happy. I can assure you
Yeah.
that. So don't feel like, you know what, oh, my marriage is broken, so now I'm never going to be happy. Find things to do. If you love concerts, go enjoy your concerts. If you love playing golf, like me, go golf a little bit. If you enjoy, do something that will bring you fulfillment, will bring you joy, and you'll find yourself healing mentally, emotionally, and then you'll get into a stable position.
I think this is great, and you've mentioned all these sort of things that you can do, and especially the aspect of the drug, where you were saying it can lead to this drug and so on, and many things. Um, do you also think, or do you also have? Can you share your opinion about during the relationship if something is not going on well?
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, especially during the relationship, something is not going on well. Does it? If men goes through all this mental crisis, does it lead men to cheat?
So you can call it cheating or you can call it whatever you want, but there's one thing I do know. Every man wants to be in a peaceful place.
Okay.
Wants to go home in a very peaceful home. Wants to go home and enjoy some just moments of family and that. So once that's not there, now you start searching elsewhere. And searching elsewhere doesn't mean you're given a pass or a permission to go cheat. I think, you start why men cheat on, and that's a
A
whole
whole topic.
topic.
Yeah.
But I think it's just you're missing something, you're lacking something here. And unfortunately, again, it's not like you're just lacking and so nobody's providing, but you're not, the communication is broken down. I think I'll give you an analogy of marriage breakdown, and hopefully this will be a good example. So the bridge,
Yeah.
like we have a big bridge here in Lethbridge, but we have bridges everywhere. So there's the nuts and the bolts, right? So the bridge doesn't just collapse one day, like once poof is collapsed, unless there's earthquake or some big calamity. So what happens is the screws, the nuts and the bolts, they unscrew slowly. So there are things we are not addressing every day. We keep it in this basket, we keep it in this basket, we keep it. So eventually 5 years later, the bridge is crumbling. It's just going down, and it goes down. So if in that, and this is why it's good now. I've learned a lot, and I realize if people can only communicate and address issues right on spot, don't wait until a week, 2 weeks. Address it and work on it. So if you're not able to address, and the bridge is going down, the bolts are loosening, then you know what? You're running away looking for some safety. So you're going to a stable place. And where is that stable place? That could be cheating. Some people go cheat, some people go to drink, some people go to
Yes.
everybody got their thing. But the cheating aspect, I think, it's just I put it on both people
Yeah.
because honestly, as a man, you can make your woman be whoever you want, and vice versa. The woman can also make you be whoever she wants.
Yeah.
So if I am going to cheat with another lady there, what's making me go out there? Is it because she has a better hairstyle? Then I can make my wife have that better hairstyle, or my partner. I can tell her, you know what? Can you please design, let's put it this, when I see this, I'm good.
But
So I'm not going.
but is she ready to change?
But you see, this is why you have to be open.
Okay.
Because the change is never easy. But you see, how do you then approach these issues? The approach is big. Because if you're going in as a man and dictating things and saying, you know what, I don't care. And what are the tones? How do you sort
Yeah.
out things? Because again, a lot of people, it's never even a conversation. It's a shouting match. So having a conversation and allowing, the most important thing I forgot, having some mentors, people you look unto in your marriage. Not that you want that marriage to be exactly like theirs, because everybody is different.
Yeah.
But people that you can look to, and they can also speak to you, and that's called accountability. Who are you accountable to? So who is your partner accountable to? And who are you accountable to? So when those people share with you, when you talk about the hardship where the
Yeah.
person is not listening, they're not, so those are the people who come in and give you some support and encouragement and teach you a little bit thing, because we are not all knowledgeable about this life.
Yeah.
So it takes other people. That's the support system. Marriage is just like a family. You'll need the support system. There are people you look unto. There are people that stand in the gap for you. They pray for you. They guide you, because it's not gonna just be straight all through.
That is very good, and I'm happy for whatever, like what you've shared is very detailed. And one thing I'll end the interview with is what is one thing you tell men or guys? What is advice you have for guys, and what should they do about this issue that we just talked about?
So I think, guys, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's not waste a lot of time, playing games. If you want to have a relationship with a lady, yeah, stick to that, work things out, and please uh, talk. Talk as much as possible. Be a real man. Stick to your word and show leadership.
Okay.
Show leadership. Leadership is not just about corporate leadership. Leadership in terms of have goals for your family. Because every woman, I'm 100% sure, is attracted to a man who has goals and ideas, who shows leadership. Because women come in to be our support.
Yeah.
And so what do we do then? Are we showing them direction? Because if you're not showing direction, and it's crazy that some men, even in this time and age, still want to lean on the women to lead them. And I'm not saying women are not good leaders, but in a home, a man steps up to be a leader.
A man is a priest.
Yeah, you have to be the priesthood of your home. That's just a fact.
Thank you very much for your insights, what you've shared to us, right from the word go from the interview to now. In fact, it's well packed, and I believe that if you have time to listen to this interview again, there's a lot you can do. You can even write a book about it, because it's really detailed. Some of us who are yet to go into some of this relationship, there is very deep and it's very insightful for all of us. So I thank you very much for the time that you've gotten to explain all these experiences that you share with us today. And so I'll tell you not to forget to subscribe and to listen to our videos for this section and other sections that we have for you. And we will continue with one other interview that we have, which will be eating habits. Of course, he's well experienced into this issue, so we want to collect some of this experience from him and just also share them at home with you and on our platform. Thank you very much, and expect the other interview from us. Bye.